5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right, hello again, everybody, and welcome. It is the Patrick Johnson Show, 94.3 The Game, 94.3thegame.com, and the IBX Media app. Thanks for being with us today. Brian Mull coming up. We're talking golf. Our first annual PJ Show Masters Challenge. We'll do a little draft coming up. So we'll get to that. Philip the Ref Pilkington is here. The number one team in their sport is coming to town tonight. We're going to have the top-ranked University north of Carrboro Tar Heels playing ECU tonight at Johnson Stadium. That's a 6 or 7 face-off. 6 o'clock face-off. But the number one team in the land is UNC, and East Carolina is playing host to them tonight. Admission free, pretty good weather day, all things considered. Not oppressively hot or dust and pollen being blown into your eyeballs with a 30-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah, I think this is good. This is perfect. Like you throw on a little lightweight jacket and go out there in less than an hour now, and watch the
fall-like.
Yeah,
it's fall-like. So I hope folks will go out there tonight. I think that'll be interesting. The Pirate softball team is headed tonight, to Chapel Hill to take on North Carolina. Pirates are coming off a sweep of Memphis. North Carolina was swept by Duke over the weekend in softball. Baseball last night. East Carolina losing to NC State 4-1. Always seems like the first matchup, whenever it's played in Greenville, State does something a little unconventional or outside the norm. And I think it's in an effort to kind of control the game. And what NC State did last night was small ball their way to some runs early, and they made it stand. And they also got a heck of a pitching performance from their second guy they rolled out there. In fact, it was a nice little duel between he and Hunter for quite a bit. Pirates unable to do other things, though. Pirates pitched well. I mean, Jenkins didn't even pitch that badly.
No.
But the Pirates pitched well, but didn't have any hitting, didn't have any timely hitting, especially when they did get traffic. And the defense continues. I'm not talking errors. There's just little things defensively they're not doing right now that great teams do. And that is where we are right now. So it's very frustrating. Great crowd on hand last night. I thought, to me, that's the best kind of weather last night. Kind of a cool evening. Nice, crisp, clean air.
Yeah. As
opposed to, hot as all get out. But, look, right now, I was talking to some people who I, value their opinion in baseball, and they're of the belief that, that it's the next 22 games, it's going to be tough. The schedule gets considerably more challenging than it was for that middle part. Started off really challenging, kind of settled in a little bit. Pirates able to find some footing, but finding some footing right now against what lies ahead, starting as soon as this weekend, to me is going to be tough. Now, if there's, a situation where, again, you got backs against the wall, Cliff Godwin has been able to have his teams rise to the occasion. You got a lot of guys that are new. They're going to have to assimilate or grow up quickly.
For sure. And one of the things right now, I mean, it seemed like early the free 90s were the issue. I think the pitching staff has kind of become established. Now, like you said, it's the defense.
It's solidified a little bit.
Yeah, it's the defense. I mean, they have given up 6 unearned runs in the first 8 days of the month. They had given up 4 in the month of February, 5 in the month of March, so that's about the same because you played one less week in February of games than you did in March, and we're already at 6 this month, and we're 8 days into it. It's not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, defensively there's some things that are really frustrating, and to me with the bats, it's a lot of the same things that they're not doing that guys were not doing a month ago or 6 weeks ago in a lot of cases. Not in every case. But in other words, the book is out, and maybe adjustments aren't being made. Now, Cliff Godwin will tell you it's more about desire and heart, and there is a lot of that too. But I thought they played hard last night. I mean, what do I know? I don't know what he thought, but I thought the guys played hard last night. They seemed invested. And State was certainly invested.
Yeah, I think the first month of the season, there were batting issues. I thought those evolved. I thought, just better approaches. But like you said, the last month or so, it's kind of been the same. Now, there have been some loud outs, especially Friday night. And some baseball games are just like that. But, yeah, I'm with you. I thought there was a lot of heart, a lot of character. It seemed like the wind kind of got taken out of them, though, the last 3 or 4 innings. Really, once that second kid came in and, shut down the first 9 or whatever. But early, man, I mean, they wanted to be there. They were energetic. But, man, it just didn't last. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like I kind of sound like a broken record. You and I spoke this morning right after Talk of the Town, and we both just kind of agreed, look, we feel like broken records, kind of saying the same thing over and over again, and until something changes, there's not much we can do as sports radio hosts. That's why we're talking about the Masters to back half the show.
Right. They pushed across, the late insurance, but it did seem like when it went 3-1, the wind came out a little bit. And that's about the time of the pitching, too. So, I mean, it just – I don't know if it's a here we go again kind of, thing.
I think it is. It's at least how it is with the fans.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, Cliff Godwin, after the game, apologizing to Pirate Nation.
We did not play well. Once again, in front of a big crowd, so I apologize to our fans because our fans were ready to erupt and we didn't do anything to help them get into the game. That's all me. I'll take all the blame for that. So we got to figure out the right guys to play. We didn't play good defense. Our pitching was outstanding, especially the 2 errors. So while Sean Jenkins gave us a good open, he wasn't going to throw a lot of pitches. And then Nick Moran was fantastic. Dick Hunter was fantastic. And offensively, just we're the team, so I'll take the blame for that as well.
More from Coach Godwin. He talked about State's pitching, which was outstanding last night.
Nance, he just shoved it right up our butt. The guy they brought in, that went, we get here, the box score right here, he went 5 innings, struck out 5, threw 80 pitches. Every time he needed to make a big pitch, he did. He was just way better than us.
Anderson Nance, who got the win, and Nick. I thought it was a nice bounce back for Nick Moran. He got the start Saturday and did not pitch well. It blew up on him in a hurry.
And he's been well throughout the year. Going into that, he had the best ERA of any pitcher in the state of North or South Carolina.
But it really kind of the inconsistency, and even last night, boy, you could tell Moran's got. They could just get him right. Like he was having a run there, Pilk, where he had a couple of really good, ABs against the Wolfpack. But then he had that kind of non-competitive 4-pitch walk, at one juncture. So, I mean, if you look at how can you come in and harness and make every at-bat competitive, and look, you're not going to get all the borderline calls in a lot of instances. I mean, it's human error still but I mean, you at least got to be competitive in the strike zone. And there's really only 1 or 2 occasions where Moran, was sort of non-competitive in an AB. I thought he bounced back very nicely last night. But you just would like to see that with a little more conviction and consistency. Cliff Godwin on the pitching. And as we've just said here, that was really very good. Everything else was not.
We need to have some guys to compete a little bit better, so we'll continue to practice, Coach. But my sheet right here, this says get better. This full good, there's like 2 things. So, Sean Jenkins pitched good, Moran pitched good, Jake Hunter pitched good. Position players, we were not good. Don't play good defense. Don't execute with guys at third base less than 2. So we'll get better, Coach Up.
And then thoughts on the error by Keenan Bowman.
Yeah, you got to make that play. So, I mean, that's what outfielders do. They catch the ball. So, he's not trying to do it, but at the end of the day, you got to make plays to win, Coach O.
And Pilk just not making enough of those plays right now.
Not at all.
And I just wonder, too, at this juncture, too, where do you go? I think right now, the way it is constructed, pitching is kind of come back around and is a little bit of what we would consider to be the strength. But, look, I think Friday night you're going to have an Ethan Norby of a month ago. He and Gillespie, that could end up being a really epic, pitcher's duel. Now, maybe both guys give up 7 or 8 runs in the first couple innings and are chased. Who knows? But I have a feeling that you're going to get a really zeroed-in version of Norby. And I think Charlotte's going to be fired up. Don't know how the series will finish, but I think Friday night you're probably going to see Charlotte play their best game of the year.
I think so. And, I've been to a few college games in that park. It's already kind of a hitter's park when you're using a wood bat. It's definitely a hitter's park when you're using a metal bat. Now, full disclosure, I've never been to a weekend college baseball game there. They've always been midweeks, so that does have a little bit to do with the pitching. You might have a few
quality
more
of pitching,
where they get left over the middle. But every game I've been to, multiple home runs by both lineups. And some no doubters. And really, the fence is high there, but it's not very deep. And because of that, you don't let up a lot of line drive home runs, but some of the ones that are, long-wasted warning track fly balls maybe here get out there. So solo shots are not going to kill you, but if you give up the free 90s, or whether that be a walk or whether that be a defensive mishap, and then you let up the bomb, you can dig yourself in a hole quick. So I'm with you, Patrick. These guys are going to have to paint the corners. They're going to have to try and get weak contact. And both these guys are really good pitchers. I mean, you talk about it. Gillespie's already thrown a no-hitter this year. Obviously, we know what Ethan Norby can be. Those guys are going to have to pitch the way they did that first conference weekend when they went out there. I think it was the first conference weekend when they both were named Conference Pitcher of the Week. Maybe it was the weekend before. But either way, they're going to have to go out there and look like that if they want their team to be successful, because if one guy slips up, it could be a long night for his club.
Do you like the idea of playing these games in the minor league park? I mean, I'm not talking about just generally playing them. I'm talking about when ECU and Charlotte play and the series is in Charlotte.
Yeah,
playing it in the minor league park.
There's so limited seating capacity at their stadium, and East Carolina fandom is huge in the Charlotte area. I go back to that Tuesday night game they played against Queens up at the park in Kannapolis. There was a lot of purple and gold in the stands, much more purple and gold on a very cold night than can even fit inside the Charlotte 49ers stadium. It is not it's a nice ballpark. It's very clean, but it doesn't hold a lot of seats, and the way their outfield is constructed, you can't do like a jungle type atmosphere. They don't have an overflow area. They do a little bit down the right field line, but overall, I mean, the seating capacity is what it is there. So when you go to a AAA ballpark, it's just so much more of an opportunity. So I hope every year we go there, we play at least one game downtown Charlotte, or we head up to Kannapolis, because that's a really beautiful ballpark as well.
So if you're not playing in Charlotte in a conference series, try to schedule something with Queens or Gardner-Webb or something in Charlotte or Kannapolis maybe.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Both of them are nice parks, and the Kannapolis Park is equally distanced pretty much from the campus of Charlotte as the downtown ballpark is too. So, if, say, next time we play there, the Knights are at home that week, if the Cannonballers are on the road, I don't see why you couldn't play there.
I want to read something here really quick. Hopefully we have time for me to get to it. I guess, Pilk, have you seen this thing where they want to have no tax against props?
What do you mean against props?
There's like some lawmakers that want to do a tax against prop bets.
Oh, my. They just want to tax everything.
Them. Excuse me,
eliminate
not tax. Eliminate the
sure.
Prop. For college games, eliminate prop bets.
Eliminate tax on all bets. That's not income tax. That's money you earned through gambling.
Well,
Darn government.
Eliminate the ability to do prop bets, but the revenue from online sports betting setting records in the month of March. All right, we're talking. Yeah, we're talking our Masters bets and talking our Masters draft.
Picks with Brian Mull.
Yeah, there you go. Easy for me to say. So Brian Mull, when we come back here on the Patrick Johnson Show, so stay with us.
We have you covered with all the ECU news and beyond that you need for the drive home. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is the Patrick Johnson Show. All right. Hey, it is over with. A good producer and a good host would have had the Masters music queued up, which we might go to break with, Bilk, if you can find a little Masters piano music. But as we bring Brian Mull in, enough talking about what was, but we're going to start with a what was first, and that is the national championship game before we talk about what will be from Augusta National. Brian, hello to you. Brian Mull at BG Mull on the X. He, of course, covers golf and college hoops, a scribe in both of those areas. Caddied in a couple of stints on the PGA Tour, so he knows what he's talking about, folks, when it comes to golf. Let me ask you this, Brian. Let's start with hoops. Satisfying ending to the 24-25 regular season?
First of all, thanks for having me on. Hello, everyone. Hello, friends. The end of the game itself was pretty bad, especially if you were having allegiance to Houston in any form or fashion, to not get a shot on their final two possessions and squander a double-digit lead. But when you look at the final four, it delivered with 4 number 1 seeds and 3 excellent games, wild games, games that looked like they could go either direction. And you have a national champion in Florida that really struggled and 4 of the 6 games that played in the tournament, yet found a way to win them. At the top end, this was a very good season for college basketball. Some of the strongest teams we've ever seen analytically in the history of, the last couple of decades. And you would have just liked to have seen a little better offensive execution down the stretch from Houston. But look, Florida's defense had a lot to do with that. And, certainly dramatic, but I'm sure they'll be thinking about that one for a long, long time down there in Texas.
All right, you're pretty smart when it comes to these things. Give me your analysis of Duke really quick and what happened against Houston.
They just got tight. I thought that Kelvin Sampson did a great job of kind of letting Cooper Flagg get his and taking Con Knipple away with schematically and forcing the third and fourth options into positions where they had to make shots or make decisions or make plays, and they were not able to do that. Both from some shots that they missed around the basket throughout the game, and then just some open shots and turnovers down the stretch. And, it's a disappointing end to a terrific season. It should not take anything away from what Duke and John Shire accomplished. And I think you have to have some perspective here. And I tweeted yesterday that it took Dean Smith 21 seasons to win a national championship. It took Roy Williams 17, and it took Mike Krzyzewski 11 at Duke to win their first. So folks need to look at the big picture sometimes. 35 wins, number 1 seed, Final Four. It's not a bad season, but it was a horrible ending. It was a horrible 10 minutes for sure.
Pilk, I know, is going to jump in on some of the golf questions for this. The great Brian Mull joins Pilkington and myself here on the Patrick Johnson Show. All right, Mr. Mull, to me, the most interesting thing about what's going on with Augusta National is when Helene came in and knocked these trees down, and that the folks at Augusta National did not truck in fully grown trees and plant them with all of their money, that they just didn't replace them like that. That's kind of so how will that, other than the aesthetics, change things, if any? And then give us, we know they like to update and modify the course each year. How much of that was put on hold with the aftermath of Helene or with dealing with Helene, and what can we expect from Augusta National on this go-around?
Well, they were forced to make adjustments to a few greens, 11 and 12 and 16, I believe. All three suffered damage from the trees that fell during Helene. So those are new surfaces. You normally, intuitively, you would just think that they are going to be firmer, the not as receptive. Typically, new greens take a while to soften up. Now, this is Augusta National. They have all the magic and tricks at their disposal, so perhaps that's not going to be the case there. But there has been a mild redesign to each of those greens, which will be something all the players have to adjust to. And then just listening to Colin Morcall's comments last night, the second hole in particular, they lost a lot of trees off the left side of that tee box there, which, maybe doesn't force a player to hit as much of a right to left shot, which can be a troublesome tee shot to hit right out of the gate for certain players. So, I think if you hit it in the trees, it's still going to be a problem. They had become very, very thick over time. But it's going to change some. The swirling wind there is unlike anywhere I've ever been, and I would think with some of those gaps in the trees, when the wind does blow, it might swirl even more or in different ways, and be equally unpredictable. I don't. I think the score. I don't think the scoring will change dramatically. I don't think what we'll see on television will look that much different than what we're used to seeing. But it apparently, Magnolia Lane took a pretty big hit as well.
We're going. Oh, really? We're going to come out and get some. We're going to do our Masters draft. We're doing a snake draft, right, Pilk? Snake draft. Is that the plan?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we can't give Mull the advantage in every round.
Right. So we're going to start with some. Where do we put Mull? Because he's too good. He's too. I thought we'd put Mull at the beginning because he's our guest.
That's what I thought.
Then we're giving up the first pick, and you can't overcome Mull if you give up the first pick. So
due to him being our guest, I had on my little spreadsheet here had him 1, you 2, and me 3.
Oh,
see, I was going to let you go second, and I was going to go third since it is try to be a generous. But now I'm thinking it is my show, so I'll go first. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, you make the rules,
and then I'll let you two fight it out for who goes second.
Do you want the where you get to pick back to back every time, Mo, or do you want to be plagued right in the middle of each round? I know, no, but I'm asking. No. I'm gonna let him choose. Which one does he want? Do you want 2 or 3?
I'll take 3.
Okay.
Because he wants the first pick in the second round. I know his game. I'm backing up, and I'm going third now. Mo will go first. How about that?
How many times am I going to have to change this darn spreadsheet? You guys are making my life heck over here.
Because I know what he's going to. I know
lost on the first tee. A lot of bets.
I know who he's going to pick is his first overall pick, and I know what that person is going to do. So
you know what they're going to do. You've got a crystal ball, and you know what's going to happen.
History is a great indicator of what that choking dog Rory McIlroy is going to do this weekend. I have history on my side.
Yeah, but hey, this is a fantasy thing. If he comes in third, he could choke away, but still win Mull the.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I'm going. That's right. I'm going first. All right. We'll figure this out in a moment. Brian, how would you? You've been kind of bullish on Rory here, the last month or so.
Yeah, I mean he's playing great. I think he's come in this similar form a couple other times and disappointed. The problem I have with Rory here, the reality, is that when he has been in contention to really win this golf championship, he has not performed well on Sunday. And most recently, 2018, it was it, I think, when he's in the last group with Patrick Reed, and or 2017, whenever it was. But Sunday he's teeing off there with Patrick Reed, and he couldn't get the job done. And his, while he's had some high finishes. One was when he started the final round 10 shots back and shot 64 and finished second. And another time he started the final round 10 shots back, shot 66 and finished third or fourth. So, Wikipedia top 10s, as they say there, or top 5s, not really ever having a realistic chance to win the golf championship. And his scoring average is over par, I think, in his last 12 rounds here. So, he's just really not a golf course that we thought was kind of built for him when he first came out on tour, and certainly had that big lead in 2011 going to Sunday. He's just not shown consistently that he plays this course as well as maybe a guy like Colin Morikawa does, or Tommy Fleetwood even. You've got a lot to weigh there. I mean, he's Rory McIlroy's kind of like the Houston Cougars were coming down the stretch Monday. They were playing for not only themselves but for generations of teams that had disappointed, and now McIlroy's he's playing not only for a Masters green jacket, but to join a very select, the most elite club in golf as career Grand Slam winners.
Other names in the mix. Legit.
Legit is a short list, in my opinion. When you look at the recent history of this championship, yeah, Danny Willett is the exception. I don't know that a lot of people saw Patrick Reed coming either, but for the most part, it's been pretty predictable that one of the big boys is going to win. I mean, we've got maybe a half dozen guys here I think can really win the tournament, but I'm not going to tell you who those are. We're getting ready to have a draft.
Right. We're having a draft. Is there a long shot that you think might be a guy to keep an eye on? Not necessarily to win, but that's maybe not on the radar right now. Is there a name or two?
He's trying to bait you so he can draft the guy in the 5th round. Do not answer that question.
All right. Well, damn it. We'll do the draft, then we'll come back and do the picks. All right.
That's how we need to do this. Yes. Dang it, Patrick, you cheating turd.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. No.
Hard longer. He's got a great chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here is Philip the Ref Pilkington, a 94.3 The Game sports update and Pirate report, and then we'll do our draft, and then we'll get some final analysis from Mull on this. How about that? We'll do that. All right, Pilk, take it away.
Thank you, P-Man. Starting in Pirate athletics, of course, the baseball team did fall to NC State last night 4-1. They will be back in action this weekend when they head down to Charlotte to take on a red-hot 49ers team. Elsewhere in the world of Pirate athletics, the softball team will be in action tonight. That's going to be on ACC Network Extra. That begins at the top of the hour, 6 o'clock, as they travel to Chapel Hill to take on the Tar Heels. Speaking of the Pirates and the Tar Heels, at 6 o'clock inside Johnson Stadium, the Pirates will be hosting the #1 ranked North Carolina Tar Heels in women's lacrosse. Remember that admission is free all season long inside Johnson Stadium. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. We're going to take a time out here on the Patrick Johnson Show and be back to draft our Masters PJ Show Challenge on the other side.
We are
Riding shotgun with you on the drive home.
It's showtime.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Brian Mull telling us this is the original version of this, written by Kenny Loggins' brother, with lyrics, which is why they use the instrumental, because the lyrics are not good, according to Brian. All right, it is the first ever PJ Show Challenge Masters draft. We're going to do 6 rounds. You're 4. We decided 4 have to make it through. Are we doing 4 or 5?
I think we decided on 5. Make it a little tough.
All right, 5 then. 5. God knows.
Yeah.
All right. 5 of the 6 have to make the cut. It's a total score. The low what, Mull? Low, I can't even read my own handwriting here.
Low 4 scores count.
Low 4, okay.
So if you get 5 through or 6 through, you can.
Right. All right. If you get a bonus for the winner.
What kind of bonus?
If you pick, what's the bonus for the winner? Somebody's buying somebody. The other 2 will buy the other one. We'll kick them some cash on Venmo or something for a nice. For a nice cheeseburger dinner or something. I don't know.
I say if you pick the winner, $10 bonus from each of the other 2 guys.
All right, that's fair. That's good. Right. Mull can put that to good use, I'm sure. He'll invest it and make 50 grand because that's how he rolls. All right. Mull goes first. He's the guest. Mull goes first. Pilk, you can go second. I'll go third, and then we'll snake it that way and go. So, Brian, we're gonna go with you here, buddy.
Okay, I am going with a recent former champion, the Spaniard John Rahm, with my
Okay.
overall
All right.
pick.
All right. Mole goes with Rom as his number one. Okay. All right, Pilk, you're up.
Well, I'm expecting Scotty to at least have a good week, so might as well guarantee myself a what should be a good finish. So give me Scheffler.
You guys are making
You
me.
put the
You guys are.
P-Man in a pickle right out of the gate.
Yeah,
I
you
did.
guys are making me do this. I'm going to take Morikawa in the first round, and I'm going to take as my fourth pick the guy who I have all the faith in the world in, Rory McIlroy. How about that?
Ooh, Brian's not
You
going
all
to
made
like
me
that.
do that.
Yeah,
You all made me do it.
yeah. I'm going to go with Oberg. Is it Oberg or Oberg?
We're not
Oberg.
sure yet.
I don't speak German.
I think
or
he.
Belgium
I think
or
he
wherever
leaves
is.
disappointed, but that's all right. Very good. Back to Mull.
It depends on the broadcaster of the day. I'm going to go with two-time major champion in 2024, Xander Schauffele.
There we go. That's the Mole we all know and love because he loves him some Schauffele. Good grief. All right. So just to recap to the first two rounds, Mole goes John Rahm, Schauffele. I knew he'd get the best picks of this thing. I go with Morikawa and Rory. Pilk's first two picks, Oberg and Scotty Scheffler, which is a really great pick. That looks like a great pick, Bill. All right. Who is Mole? You're back up. Back to you on the snake draft.
This is where it gets interesting, folks.
It is. Yeah. A lot of the, not all, but most of the big names are off the board.
I'm going to go with Bryson DeChambeau.
All right. Okay.
I guess it's too early to go with any of my kind of long shot picks here. Give me a former winner. I'm going to take Jordan Spieth.
Okay. All right. I am going. Let me see. So that's and then back to me. So I'm going to go with my third pick, Brooksy Koepka, and then come back with Batia.
Dang it.
Back to you, Pilk.
Yeah, you took my lefty there, so I'm gonna believe in riding the hot hand.
Lefties do well at it, but
lefties
young players do not.
So I'm going to find an older lefty who's riding the hot hand because he won last week despite shooting 3 over on the final day. Give me Brian Harman. I know it's a long shot pick, but we'll see how he does.
Okay, I don't hate it. It's a long shot pick. All right. Back to you, Mr. Mull.
Hideki Matsuyama.
All right. Okay.
And
all right.
Now it's getting tough, baby.
Pickens get a little slim at this juncture.
Shane Lowry.
Lowry, okay.
There's a major winner.
Yeah.
Much different style of golf course he won his major on, but a major winner nonetheless.
Major winner nonetheless. All right.
You know what? I'm going to do a homer pick here. It's probably stupid, but this is one of Mole's guys. I'm going to take Zalatoris.
Nice. Yeah, Pilk taking Zalatoris. All right, back to me. My final two picks. Got to make them good. I'm going to go as a having a tough time here between a couple guys. So let's go ahead and take a long shot as Sepp Straka.
Mm-hmm.
Long shot action for me there. And then I'm picking between two. I do too. I'm picking between two guys here. I think you know where I'm going to go, Mole, when it comes to the Masters. One of my favorites, period. Give me Fairway Jesus. Give me Tommy Fleetwood rather than Jason Day. So, all right.
I'm going to go JT.
Yeah.
Oh, JT was still on the board. How about that? All right.
Bobby McIntyre. I need a lefty on my team.
Okay.
All right, so
All
I just
right.
want to confirm: do we get the low 4 scores each day from our guys, or is it just a low 4 from the entire round or the entire tournament?
It's a good question.
What would make it the most interesting?
I kind of like the low 4 each day.
I do too.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah. So you get your best 4 golfers per day. So I'll
It's
make
kind
the
of like
spread.
college golf, high school golf, or college
Yeah.
golf.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
your squad, and you're picking your
Yeah,
low.
I got my
guys each
squad.
day. You got your
We got our
squad.
squad. All right, let's recap the squads. Pilk, you want to recap the squads here?
All right. So Mull's got John Rahm, Xander Schauffele, Bryson DeChambeau, Hideki Matsuyama, Shane Lowry, and Bobby McIntyre.
It's pretty solid.
Yep.
God, that's good. That's
I've,
good.
I've got Scotty Ludwig. I'm not even going to try and say his last name because, like I said, it's half the time it's different. I got
Hauberg, yes.
Spieth, Brian Harmon, the Wake Forest guy, Will Zalatoris, and Justin Thomas.
Okay.
PJ's got Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy, Brooksy, Akshay Bhatia, Sepp Straka, and Tommy Fleetwood.
It's a solid little crew I'm rolling out there, if I do say so my damn self.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a lefty. Everybody got a lefty. I think.
We did. Yeah,
I
you could
think
have
that's
one.
what I think. I think when we do this next year, we put some safeguards on it, such as you do have to pick a lefty, because we all did. We've established.
Lefties do well at Augusta.
They do.
Well, yes. So next year, when we have other members that are dying to join this, there we go.
Everybody's going to be
Yeah.
ticked off that we left them out this year.
Kind of
You
like
make
I was
everybody
left out
take
of
a
the
senior, take an amateur. Take
Yeah.
a senior.
taking it. Yeah, we could expand it next year.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot of fun. What are we? But hey, we did it here. I like my. Objectively speaking, Mull's probably going to win this thing. It's just my belief.
Well, I think I feel good about Rahm and Schauffele. I think he's trending nicely. Just he hasn't played, but DeChambeau and Matsuyama have a lot of volatility. If we get the best version of either one of those two guys, you're talking about two guys that could win the tournament. But
Yeah.
Hideki after playing great the first term of the year hasn't done a whole lot, and Bryson's Bryson. Honestly, his record other than that first round 65 last year is pretty poor here, but I'm banking on his big boyness. He's comfortable being. And look, power at Augusta has always been and more so lately is just, and he has enough of that. So we'll see.
Is with the all right. So let's do some long shots. Straka was a guy I considered a long shot at this. I mean, and maybe even could win it. But I think will do really well. Pilk, who is your long shot? Harmon.
I ended up taking Harmon, but I was going to go with Akshay Bhatia. Even though he's a young guy, I think if anybody's going to do it as a young guy, it's him.
I was talking about that you took it.
Oh, that I
on
took
your
my
team.
team. Yeah. I took Brian Harmon.
Yeah. All right. So let's Straka and Bhatia as long shots in this thing, Brian.
I really like Straka. I think his he's just been very consistent this season. Already has a win under his belt. He's a flatliner, his personality, which I think is a big advantage in a tournament like this where you're going to face all kinds of adversity over the course of 4 days. And I just think his demeanor and ability to stay kind of, away from the red line in either direction is a benefit for him. And he's kind of at that point in his career now where he's a regular participant in these majors, and he's had some good finishes and played really well at the Open Championship a few years ago. And I love Straka. I was just kind of looking through the data golf odds. The two highest on their board who were not selected, well, three, Joaquin Niemann, Patrick Cantley, and Corey Connors. All three kind of in the top 10 on their odds board, and nobody in our esteemed panel believes in that. So
yeah,
I'm okay overlooking Neiman. He doesn't have a great record here, and he has a low ball flight, which generally has not served golfers well. Cantley has never putted well at Augusta. Corey Connors is always a good play for a top 10 or top 20 in a big championship. But,
yeah, I'm going to ask you that in a minute. Really quick, Mickelson's game is in a little better place than it was last year, I think. You know what a fan
really
I am
good.
of Lefty. Yeah, I mean, he could make a run in this thing, make it interesting, couldn't he?
No doubt. I actually watched the final round of Liv Doral late night the other night, and just trying to get a little intel on these guys that maybe I don't see quite as often. And I thought Rom looked great. I don't know. After last year, where I never thought he looked very good at all. But then Phil's golf swing and just he got a horrific break late. He was right there. He was one shot out of the lead, and he hit this beautiful chip shot and hit the flag and went in the water. I mean, it was just the worst break you could possibly get. He was going to have a 3 or 4 foot birdie putt. And he ended up making bogey. I kind of derailed him early, but yeah, I think Phil, he looks good, man. He looks healthy and strong, and certainly nobody has played this course as well as he has over the last 25 years. So yeah, I mean, Phil could contend.
Pretty good weather. Will it be like a 10 to 12 is the score, or is it going to be a little tighter than that? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to get it to 12 under. You know, the formula at Augusta hasn't ever changed. Avoid double bogeys, birdie the par fives, you know, survive holes like 1 and 11. You know, the tough par fours, just don't let those holes kill you during the week. You can make a bogey here or there on those holes and it's okay, but you gotta kind of manage those holes and then just birdie the par fives to keep your momentum going and keep the ball dry on 12 and 11 and 16 and the holes that can jump up and bite you. And you know, there's somebody's going to get it going and be 12. And that's the beautiful thing about Augusta. If you're playing poorly, you'll get exposed, but if you're playing well, you can really score. And on the weekend, the way they set up the golf course with those hole locations and a lot of the places where the ball wants to funnel down there to it, you can really get it going. And we'll see a couple guys that are on point that'll master the course.
I know par
Bill,
threes are not. Yeah, I was just gonna say I know where par threes are not really where you aim for birdies, just because usually if you're a good golfer, your approach shot, you know, is usually shorter on a par four than it is on a par three. But is 16 one of those holes you really feel like you have to take advantage of because of what you said, where you know, with the hole kind of, or the green kind of funneling to the hole? Obviously, like I said, it could be different this year, new green after the damage to it. But it seems like if you can birdie or in a lot of cases ace 16 early in the week, that's one of those holes you can kind of steal a stroke or two, right?
Yeah, 16 is an interesting green there, and assuming it's similar, I wouldn't think they would have changed it too drastically. There's like so there'll be 4 hole locations there over 4 days, and there's 2 that are very accessible where you feel like you can make birdie, and then there's 2 others where you're just really gonna probably play a smart shot and have a 30-footer, you know, and try to 2-putt and get your par and get out of there. The key is just not to do anything silly, miss that green left or right, or get in a bunker somehow and make a mess of it. So you just have to, you know, but certainly on 16, where it's been, we've seen some phenomenal shots. I think a Nicklaus in '86, I think a Tiger in 2019, and of course we've seen hole-in-ones there on Sunday. You know, I think it's by far been the most aced of the 4 par threes. Hadn't been an ace on number 12 since Curtis Strange in 1985, I think, which is pretty wild. So I keep waiting for somebody to make a 1 there. 4, I mean, nobody. I mean, that hole can be 240 yards. I don't know that anybody will ever make a hole-in-one there. But the par threes, the 16 come down the stretch. I mean, you look at 13, 15, and 16 as birdie holes with that accessible pin on Sunday for sure.
All right. Well, give us from those that are going to be putting a little action down this weekend, what are some good bets to really, you know, do pretty well for yourself? What would you recommend?
Yeah. I mean, as far as placement, I mean, I think you look at guys who've been playing well this season and have played well, have a decent record at Augusta in the past. And, you know, if you're looking like a top 10, top 20, guys like Fleetwood, Lowry, Schauffele, Henley, Corey Connors, I think you can get some value there. If you're looking to bet the winner, I wouldn't stray too far from the top of the leaderboard. History has told us that long shots just don't aren't able to do everything that's required over the course of 4 days to win the green jacket. So it's probably going to be one of a short list of guys who can, who have performed at this level before and can. Now, last year we saw Højgaard and Oberg, who were both first timers, who were right there on Sunday as well. But uh, just be prudent. I think there's always some fun, low amateur, low senior, low Canadian. There's always some fun markets too, where you don't have to just focus so much on the top of the board at Augusta. And Victor Hovland's an interesting guy to me, a wild card. Like, he could shoot 65 on Thursday or 78, and I don't think I'd be surprised by either one.
All right, picks to click. Who you got, Mull? Bill, can you get yours too?
I bet Rahm at plus 1,500. I think those have come down a little bit. I bet Schauffele to top 10. I just think he's underpriced. I think he's healthy. He had one of his best weeks with his irons of his career last time out. And I may make one more outright bet. I've not decided yet, but that's where I'm at right now.
So you think Rahm, Schauffele, and then one other of the guys?
I've got a ticket on Matsuyama, but I don't love it. I may cash it. I bought it a couple months ago.
I got you. Pilk, who wins?
Who wins? You know what? I'm gonna go Colin. You got to be a good second shot player. Second shot player's golf course. He's got great iron play. I think he's due for a big win.
I gotta see him too, but why am I sitting here on Rory? Why was I drawn to Rory? Why did the Cosmos put Rory in
Vegas builds hotels on suckers like you.
They just drew you right in. They're just reeling you right in, like just catching you. Here we come. Okay, here comes another one.
Man, hard to believe. All right, thank you, Brian Mull. Really appreciate it. Great stuff.
Pleasure, gentlemen. Good luck to y'all. I hope y'all finish a strong second.
Listen, Mull, here it is right here. Little Ray Charles.
Fair enough.
Start of Masters Week.
Georgia.
It's perfect, baby.
The whole day through. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. I said, Georgia, Georgia.